ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Check this out, we got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week. Good friend, colleague, family, Mr. Andrew McInnis, live as we are talking CFL. We're talking MLB break, MLB All-Star Game. Tonight, congrats to Cal Riley. I guess he won the home run derby. I guess I didn't watch one wink of it, but anyways, that's for another story. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. That is 100% totally free. AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Terry Smith was on yesterday. Jump on over to Facebook. Please follow him. And then come on back to AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Use the promo code STEAKS10. Get 10% off your entire order. That's steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, wine. Terry's got it all. He's also got 4 subscription plans. Set it and forget it. Every 30 days, get a box of protein like I do, right to your front door. The only thing you'll need is a spare propane tank. So without further ado, Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up?
What's up? Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, everyone's talking about nothing going on this week. This is the time that all cappers take vacations, and I'm just breaking down week 7 of the CFL. So I'm ready to rock here. No dog days, no quiet time here. CFL is my main focus. I'm ready to rock.
Well, this is usually the funny week because let's be honest here. We're at the halfway point of 2025. Now this is the start. We're halfway through our 10th year of public service. But this is the tap on the shoulder. This is, hey, hon, the kids are out of school. We're going to our cottage for the summer. They got day camp, soccer camp, sailing. Why don't you take a few weeks off, pump the brakes, and enjoy the summer with the family? This is the week when everyone waves the white flag. Oh, I can't wait. I'm taking a few weeks off. Football's right around the corner. That's my sport. Oh, my God, I'm going to kill these guys.
Yeah.
And they don't even make it to October 1st, never mind Thanksgiving. I said it in the alert, Andrew. If I look back historically, our first 9 years, I would venture to guess at least 7 losing weeks in that week heading up to the All-Star break. I don't know. It's just timing, teams off, not reading them right. We were 12-3 last week, and I'm like, please,
awesome,
no break.
awesome.
No break. No break. But again, we caught some breaks. But my point is, again, for us, this is what we do every day, so it doesn't matter. As you said, CFL. The last major in the PGA starts on Thursday. Baseball back on Friday, and we just keep rolling.
Exactly. There's always something going on. There's news to look forward to. There's news we're following along with. And, as far as the baseball goes, it's funny to me, Jeff, because I found every single year, I would say at first I used to be more active at the start of the season. And as I've progressed with baseball and I've gotten better with it, I actually found myself more in action post All-Star break than pre All-Star break, which is funny because most people are attacking the board heavily pre All-Star break and not as much post. Some people would say pre All-Star break, the bad teams don't know as much that they're bad yet. And I agree with that. But at the same time, also, post All-Star break, we know who the hell is bad. We know who we want to go against, and you can still make money fading them in baseball, in MLB action. Of course, in September, maybe, when some of these teams are locked into positions, you can make some money on some underdogs. Don't get me wrong. But I find August in baseball can be a time to capitalize on some of these red-hot teams. But for right now, I'm ready to rock with CFL. I'm already researching some NHL stuff, which is setting all kinds of futures have dropped at FanDuel, at DraftKings, Rookie of the Year, for Defenseman of the Year, for Coach of the Year. So the futures markets are always fun to break down. So there's always stuff to look at here. And back-to-back profitable weeks in the CFL, 7-3 run. And those Red Blacks, they continue to have my number. But 7-3 run, I'll take that any day of the week. And we're back to the number one spot at Wager Talk with CFL.
Well earned and deserved. We end the week Sunday. I said it in the alert, which Elks team is going to show up. We had the BC team total over, and I think we had 24 at halftime, which is such a soothing feeling when it's 26.5 or 27.5 wherever you're shopping. But again, I think we're plus 3 units right now in the CFL. We're trying to hold the float there. 4 games, thank you, this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, when I was introduced to the CFL a million years ago, Toronto, Montreal, Toronto, Winnipeg, Calgary, those were the headliners. Those were the must-watch TV. Thursday night, Toronto travels to Montreal. Montreal, 8.5-point favorites. How the mighty have fallen, Andrew.
Big time how things can change, Jeff. And this Toronto team, what are they, Grey Cup winners? Like 2 of the last 3 years or 2 of the last 4 or 5 years? This team, they've gotten the job done, but they've had injuries take them down a little bit. Looking at the last time these teams played, though, it was absolute dominance from Montreal. Blew them out a little bit here. When you look at this number, Jeff, the early opener, I always tell you, because the odds board isn't going to tell you the real opener. I'll tell you the real opener I saw the second that they were released, 4.5 points. 4.5 points that some people were able to see in this game. And then now you look, of course, the consensus number should be 8.5. So your opener will tell you 8.5 was the opener. At least that's what I'm seeing on Odds Logic and the Wager Talk page. But 8.5, circa, Bet Online, DraftKings. 4.5s were available, and then 5.5, then 6.5, then 7.5, then 8.5. So think about how wrong the books are on that one. So congrats to anybody that was able to get in early on that line here. But the big news surrounding this one here, Jeff, is that Davis Alexander is back. He was having an MOP run before he got injured. I mean, this guy looked unbelievable. It was his first year officially as a CFL starting quarterback. Unfortunately, he got hurt. And McLeod Bethel Thompson took over. And, I had faith in some of these games in MBT, but he didn't have faith in me because he didn't give that faith back at me and do as well as I would have liked. But taking a look at this Alouettes team, they go into the bye week. Losing 21-20, and it was that walk-off play there from the Lions. Luckily, I had a play with my clients on the first half with the Alouettes. Those first half plays are always nice when they work out that way, when the team ends up losing the full game here. But coming off the bye, getting your healthy quarterback back, getting Austin Mack back into the game, who's their receiver, it makes you think here, Jeff. There's really not a way that you would go against this Alouettes team. But I was saying earlier on a show with Bobby, we bet a lot of team total overs in the CFL. And Montreal has the second best defense in the league. And if you take a look at the earlier matchup, week 1 CFL, Alouettes, Argos, 28-10 was the score. And I'm not saying it's going to be the exact same picture. Both teams are coming off bye weeks. How about the team total under 20.5 for the Toronto Argonauts? They're coming off a game before their bye week that had like 83 points or something ridiculous. It was like nuts. I mean, it was the one where Hamilton put up a 50 spot. So people might say, well, you're going to take an under this time on Toronto. Well, one good thing about getting a good quarterback back in the CFL is time of possession. And I don't know if you were able to watch any of the BC game. I only caught a couple quarters of it, didn't watch the full thing. But Nathan Rourke being back for BC, it's good for the defense. Now, I was talking to Rob Braley, who's connected with the CFL, and I've done shows with him. He says time of possession can help you in a certain way like that with a team total under or an under, because you're just betting on, this team being able to hold on to the ball. And if Nathan Rourke has an 8-minute drive and then Edmonton gets the ball back and they go 2 and out, it's pretty tough because you don't know when you're getting the ball back again. So I'm kind of hoping for that as well. Montreal, second best defense in the league. Might shock you to hear this. Calgary, number 1 defense in the league after they were ranked like 9th or 8th or 7th by most people, including me going into the season. But Toronto, team total under 20.5 might be my first team total under play of the season.
I like where your eyes are. I do there. I will be keeping my eyes on that one for sure. Friday, this one's a little intriguing here. Calgary heads to Winnipeg. My headliner, by the way, today, Andrew, can Calgary stampede the Blue Bombers this week in the CFL? 3.5, and the plus 3.5 now juiced to minus 115. Under over 49 and a hook, over minus 115. Money line on the Blue Bombers minus 175. You can catch the Stampede at plus 145. I think we finally might have a pulse on the Calgary team. We talked about it at length last week. Tough spot. Were they peaking? This is a big matchup, but I'm just telling you this. The books put a little respect in my eyes on the Calgary side here.
They did. I mean, 4-0 ATS in this one here. 4-1 straight up record. 4-1 ATS overall. This team is making noise. That situation was kind of weird. The Friday night, we don't want to blast the CFL here, but I don't like how that was handled. 3.5 hours. It pretty much was. It was supposed to be 3 hours, 3.5 hours. For all of our customers, the rule stayed where it was 24 hours within the game initial time. No change of venue. The 53.5 for our understood. But I think it hurts Saskatchewan. I always talk about, I'm not sure 100% what it is, but I think they might be one of the older teams in the league. Some of the routines might have been thrown off for some of the players out there. I felt bad for the fans, though, Jeff. I did, because in Saskatchewan, the fans are traveling. That's one of the more traveled fan bases. So to let them stay there, buy all kinds of drinks, buy the beer, buy the pizza, buy the hot dogs, and then say, sorry, guys, we're sending you home. I'm not saying don't look out for the fan base and the health and the players of the air quality. And it's a real shame over there in the West Coast, the air quality in the summer. But I think they should have been sent home a lot sooner. With that said, good for Calgary. They take down Saskatchewan because I said last week on the show, one team is undefeated and one team is undefeated as an underdog. But honestly, Jeff, this is to me, this is my prove it to me moment for Calgary because I actually haven't lost too much on them. Last week, I wish I went on them, but I had the under, so we'll take that as another victory in a Calgary game. But you've got such a revenge spot here, such a spot to look at. I mean, 37-16. That was the score the last time these two teams played in favor of Calgary in Calgary. So now you've got Winnipeg off a bye, off a blowout loss, and they get to play at home. You get an extra week of practice, and you know, we don't want to over-exaggerate this, but think about your favorite NFL team or your favorite NFL coach off a bye. This is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is Mike O'Shea and the Blue Bombers offense. So when I look at Winnipeg, I'm actually intrigued by this -3.5. This is one of those ones, Jeff, where I think that, you know how NFL Sheets or Westgate or whoever will print off look-ahead lines? This is one of those ones, if CFL did look-ahead lines, we'd be looking at this line right now and looking at it preseason and thinking, you're going to give me week 7, Winnipeg off a bye, -3.5? I probably would take that. And I know we have to be cognizant of what's gone on in the past. And man, you know, do you really want to go ahead and go against this Calgary team that hasn't lost a game? This is the funny thing. It's not even they haven't, failed to cover a game as an underdog. They're winning all these games outright. So if you said, forget the points, I'm betting the money line on all these Calgary games, you are stacking units. But I still have faith in this Winnipeg team. I do. And, hey, call me whatever you want. I'm buying into the revenge factor as well. 37-16. Calgary made them look foolish. Both teams are 3-1. We're 3-1 in that situation. And this is one more point to make. Brady Oliveira, he's only played, I think, one game all season, 1 or 2 games. Both these teams ranked 1 and 2 as the top rushing teams in the league. Very simple. The team with the most rushing yards in this game wins the ball game. That's the way I look at it.
And it is so intriguing. And like in the NFL, like in any sport, there's always that underdog team that, no respect. And next thing you know, you're like, holy shit. Look at like, I'm not comparing exactly, but look at like the Washington Commanders last year.
Yes, it's a good one.
From worst to first, basically. Jaden Daniels. Here they are winning. Well, they can't win on the road. Well, yeah, now they can. Well, they can't beat this, and so again, this is kind of a statement for both teams. I love where your eyes are. It's tough. Winnipeg at home, 3.5. I'll be looking at the team total, 49.5, 24-24. It's probably around 26.5, right? 25.5, 26.5, somewhere in there.
Let's see what FanDuel only gives you one number here. They're the home team. We're seeing interesting. So it's 26.5 juiced. So obviously the next step is 27.5 plus or -105. Right now it's heavily juiced over 26.5.
And that's usually the sweet spot. 26.5 is such a nice number because 27, 28, 29. It's that 27.5 where it lands on 27. That got us already this year. So, but I'd like to, anyone watching and listening that can jump in on Winnipeg team total over 26.5. I'll give that out as a freebie right now. Saturday. This is a real intriguing game. Saskatchewan travels to BC. BC plus 1.5. Saskatchewan -1.5. -120 on the money line. A 52.5 juiced under -115. 27. This one, first one to 27 wins, Andrew. I said it in the alert last Sunday. Which Elks team shows up? I'm going to flip it here. Which BC Lions team shows up?
Well, it seemed like everybody that follows sharp movement last week, a lot of people that I know in the industry were on the Edmonton side. It was the 3rd straight road game for BC. If you got the best number possible, you were getting plus 3.5. Which is good if you can get that because the number closed, or at some spots 2.5 right there for Edmonton, for the BC side there. So now it's 3rd game road trip, 1st game back at home. So we use that a lot in the NHL and NBA. How much does that matter in the NFL? Well, some people would say you have to take into account traveling. And, if we're gonna run some Canadian geography here, let's just look at where this team has been traveling around. They went to Saskatchewan, to Montreal on the East Coast, and then back out on the West Coast, about as far as you can get, to Edmonton, and now they're back at home with Saskatchewan visiting them. So, I mean, we think back to the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, Florida versus Edmonton. Remember that travel that both teams would talk about, how Florida versus Edmonton is probably a nightmare for the schedule makers for the NHL and for the travel people and guys setting the planes up. And there was a story about Florida's plane actually having to land to get gas or to fuel up their plane. So it hasn't been easy for them. So there's two ways that I'm looking at this game, Jeff. It's Nate Rourke's back. Boy, did he look good. But guess what? Everybody that's played Edmonton has covered their team total, has put up points. And Farhan Lalji, he's a TSN reporter. He lives out there in the West Coast. He covers the CFL. He actually bets the CFL as well. He said, you can't play Edmonton every week. He always says that after every team plays Edmonton, right? You can't play Edmonton every week. So it's interesting because you got Saskatchewan that was 4-0 ATS, 4-0 straight up. So sometimes when a team finally loses, it's kind of like, okay, they're done. They're done taking over the league now. Let's let them fall down a bit. Or, hey, that was their loss. Let's watch them lose 2 in a row. You mentioned first to 27, I believe you said. I think I want to be on Saskatchewan team total here. BC, the only thing that bothers me, BC does play well at home. But even though this isn't talked about as not enough in football compared to, let's say, NHL and NBA, the first game back at home can be tough too, but this is also a revenge factor, 37-18, but Rough Riders had no problem putting up points the last time they played these guys. So I understand Nate Rourke being back, the long time of possessions that can utilize the clock a little bit. But the Lions win 21-20 over the Owls. They put up 32 points on the Elks. And then the start of their road trip was against this very Riders team where they allowed, late 30s. We're asking this team to get to 27. I think Saskatchewan bounces back. I think they're still a great, great football team. They did not look good against Calgary. Let's give them a chance to bounce back here. I'll take Saskatchewan's team total.
I like where your eyes are there. Sunday, Hamilton at Ottawa. The Ticats, -1.5. Money line -115, -105. Under over 54.5. They're saying the Ticats bounce back. They're saying the Ticats get to 30 here. Again, this one clearly first one to 28/30 wins. This is looks like a 30-27 walk-off battle here. Which team shows up is the big question.
Well, the funny thing is, usually I have something to say about the coaching staff for Ottawa, and this time they just lost it. 8 minutes left, Jeff. I had over 25.5 for Ottawa. I'm like, man, this is going to be a good week. We're going to have a great CFL week here, and they didn't score anything more after that. They landed on 20. They had 20 for like the last 10 minutes, and they land there again. You and I have been doing this show for years together, especially in the summer, talking CFL. And oftentimes we will say you don't have to take the team looking for revenge. But when you look at the market sometimes, you look at the number you're getting that second game, look at the way that Ottawa lost. I think Drew Brown is one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league. I think if Drew Brown, put it this way, if Drew Brown played for the Elks, I think the Elks are doing a hell of a lot better. And Fajardo's sitting there on the bench for the Elks, and he should be playing as well. And you look at some of these teams, I think that, even Drew Brown on the Argos, because Nick Arbuckle's been out there instead of Chad Kelly, of course. Drew Brown is underrated. And at home, he seems to sling the football a lot better. They still have great weapons. It's the defense that kind of burnt them a little bit. Hamilton does look good. The question is, Jeff, do I want to be talking to you again next Tuesday and saying, I went against Hamilton again? And that's the truth. Am I a little fearful to do so? Maybe a little bit. I'm seeing over 27.5 -102. And you and I like those contrarian team totals. And that 27.5, that kind of reminds me of that number you like for first half, the 24.5. It's that number that's a football number with the hook, right? I kind of like that again. we'll see if I end up getting there. We'll see how the week goes. Asking them to get to 28 points. This is a big week for Ottawa. And Hamilton is red hot. You see their schedule. You see what they've done. Would you blame me for doing so, or would you want to just bet on Hamilton's offense, Jeff? Be honest with me.
Great question. I kind of trust Ottawa in this spot.
Nice.
I kind of trust Ottawa in this spot. I do. And then you could get egg in your face. Hamilton, just blows up like a woodchuck. But again, that Sunday night, here's the problem. How many Sunday nights, 7 o'clock starts where this game looks like a track meet? First one to 35 wins, and then at halftime it's 10-9. We see that a lot.
Yeah. Not often with Ottawa, though. They might be the team we can count on. They might be the team that we can count on. I know what you mean, though, with those Sunday games. And you know what the funny thing is about those games, Jeff? It's the first half where we see points, and they just die out in the second half, which is interesting. How about let's take a little peek at the first half number here. +1. We don't look at the +1.5. First half winner. So it's -111. This is FanDuel here. We never know what number you're going to get with FanDuel. -111. FanDuel, money line, Ottawa Red Blacks, fresh off the loss against the Ticats last week. And if we take a look at the Tiger Cats scores, I mean, this is a team that 51, 35, and 23. They dominated the Argos. They upset the Alouettes. They win by a field goal for the Red Blacks. I'm convincing myself here. Give me the Red Blacks, maybe even the first half here. I think this could be a humbling spot for them. I always talk, I got to practice what I preach. And, going into the season, I talk a lot about the fat and sassy spots, the travel spots. Well, Ottawa to Hamilton isn't much of a travel spot, but this is your prime example of a team riding a nice 3-game winning streak. Ottawa's going to be pissed, motivated as anything. The home crowd's going to be there. The thing is, though, Jeff, I don't know if you ever really want to take Ottawa money line versus just their team total. You know what I mean? Like, they might be just a team. Like, yeah, would it suck if they won 26-23 or something? Yeah, maybe, because we don't get that 28 number. But do you really want to be watching this game and have a money line ticket? Because if they go down 7-3 early on, you just couldn't care less. All you care about is your number and not as much what Hamilton does, right?
Well, and here's the sad part, the hard part about being on Ottawa is if they get behind, if Hamilton's cooking with Crisco early, in my eyes, it's a wrap. It's a wrap because I don't like this Ottawa team chasing from behind. I don't. So, but I think if I remember correctly, Sunday nights, Ottawa at home, I think it was last year, they played a couple big scoring games because their defense was not that good. I think both teams are going to score. Remember, 20-20. We don't need a field goal fest here.
They were 7-1-1 last year at home.
Yeah.
Much better home team. So maybe the coach just makes better play calls. Who knows what it is at home? They seem like a better team. I wanted to bring something up, Jeff, if we have just 1 second. It's always fun to look at the futures. And I just wanted to go on record. I still think that 10-1, though, on BC is something worth looking at for people out there. Like I said, I haven't decided if I'm going to be on Saskatchewan team total or what I'll end up doing. Maybe that game will be a first half overplay for me. Who knows what we'll end up doing with that one. But 10-1 for BC. If you followed my bet in the preseason, you already have the 7-1 on Saskatchewan. And then, just like we are most years, you'll end up finding yourself just cheering against Winnipeg. and that's what you want to do is, Winnipeg's 380. You've got Montreal and Calgary. And Calgary, Bobby and I got Calgary at 30-1 in the offseason, which is unbelievable. I talked about that one on Sports Grid. I believe actually might have mentioned on the show months ago, but +600 now. I mean, almost seeing that plus 600 makes me want to fade Calgary even more this week, because how can they go from being 25-1 at some spots to start the season off to now 6-1 at some spots this year based on this start? 4-1 ATS, I get it, but are they the Washington Commanders of the CFL? We'll find out.
Well, listen, we did talk about, off week, which is not in our lanes, of course. I will be back on your channel Friday morning. I got to give you the stage. My Red Sox are coming. The winners of 10 in a row. You got the Jays hat on. How's the temperature? I know this. There were, and I'll confront Gabe. Ask Gabe this one tonight when you're on the grid. He didn't even have Toronto leading the pack at the All-Star break on his bingo card.
And that will be all Jays fans tonight. I bet you everybody will be singing Kumbaya, as you like to say. The big question, Jeff, everyone's talking about with Blue Jays media here is, what are the trades going to be like? What are the acquisitions going to be like? How much do they give up? How much do they change the roster? Even in a sport like baseball, do you want to mess with something that's doing good? Do you want to change a good thing? That's the question right now. But things are looking good in Blue Jays world, and hopefully they can keep getting good pitching. And I trust the offense to keep moving forward. So we'll see. The fact that you can go into the All-Star break after playing the A's is a good thing. I'm not really happy they lost that last game. All those games can come back to haunt you, but feeling pretty good about this team right now. And as I always tell you, it's the end of August and early September that makes or breaks this team. So this is a time where people in Canada start tuning into the Blue Jays, and we'll see what they can do moving forward. But I'm looking forward to it.
I wish that series never ended. I had the Jays team total on Friday, Cash. I had Oakland, the A's team total on Saturday. First five, got a 2-out, 2-run homer to get over that. So I was like, no, don't end this series. Please.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Scroll have been going the whole time, Andrew. At McInnis Picks, at Wager Talk, WT.buzz/A&M. Tell the public what you got.
Jeff, always love chatting with you. Was excited to have 4 games this week in the CFL. Hopefully we can catch some winners. You can keep rocking with those team totals. I'm happy I joined you with the team totals now in the CFL. Guys, look, we had that great special going for a little while, but the price is now very reasonable. If you want to get in with me with the CFL, you can join me at WT.buzz/AM. As you can see the bottom of the screen, there's 30-day passes and there's full season passes available. We're 7-3 on the season. We're up close to 9 units on the season, and we're just picking up. We had 2 kind of rough weeks, and almost ever since then, it's been back-to-back profitable weeks. We got a big 5% play going this weekend. Didn't have one last weekend. We just kind of had those 4% plays and 3% plays. Big play going this weekend, which I cannot wait to watch that one, and hopefully that one cashes. And we're also going to have a CFL and NHL season pack coming out at the end of this week. So if you want to get in with me early with my NHL, we're going to throw in the CFL for no cost. So we'll see what we can do there with that one. Lots of time left in the CFL. We'll get you guys all set for the rest of the 2025 calendar and into the new year.
Well, we can't wait. Again, I'll be back with Andrew around 10:30 a.m. Friday. They're back here at ECSI Network tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Brady Cannon will be back from Hawaii. He was a week off, with the family. Played Kapalua, too. We'll be talking British Open, last major before the FedEx Cup begins, and it is a Ryder Cup year at Bethpage, about 4.5 hours from me. Might sneak up there for a practice round, we'll see. And then Thursday, Matthew George will be back from Sports Grid talking some WNBA and NBA and all that good stuff. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy the All-Star game tonight, and we'll see you soon.